I'm standing at a blackjack table with $200 in chips. That's not my gambling budget. That's my rent money, my car payment, the last cash I have to my name until Friday, which is 9 days away. My hands are shaking. The dealer is waiting. And I'm about to make the dumbest decision of my entire life. Or the smartest. I still don't know which one it was. Let me back up. It's 2019. I'm 27 years old. I've just gone through a breakup, a bad one. And I've been coping the way a lot of people cope, which is to say, poorly. I'm drinking too much. I'm not sleeping. I'm making decisions that future me is going to have serious problems with. And one night, after way too many beers with a buddy who should have known better, I end up at a casino about 40 minutes outside the city. I didn't go there planning to gamble. I went because my friend wanted to, and I had nothing better to do, and honestly, I just wanted to be somewhere loud where I didn't have to think. But somewhere between the free drinks and the noise and the lights, I sat down at a slot machine with $40, and I lost it in about 12 minutes. That should have been the end of the story. Go home, sleep it off, chalk it up to a bad night. But here's the thing about casinos, and I didn't understand this at the time, but I understand it now. They're not designed for you to leave. Everything about that environment is engineered to keep you seated, keep you spending, keep you chasing. And that night, in the headspace I was in, I was the perfect target. So I went to the ATM. First withdrawal, $100. I told myself I'd win back the $40 and walk away with a little extra. Classic gambler logic. I lost that $100 in maybe 20 minutes at a roulette table. Betting red, betting black, betting random numbers because they felt right. Nothing hit. Second withdrawal, another $100. This time I moved to blackjack because I figured, hey, at least there's some strategy involved. I played a little in college. How hard could it be? I lost that too, faster than the first 100. And now I'm standing at the ATM for the third time, and my bank account is showing me a number that makes my stomach drop. I have $214.67 left. Total. That's everything. Rent is due in 4 days. My car insurance auto drafts in a week. And I'm staring at this screen, thinking about how I'm going to explain this to myself in the morning. But I don't leave. I take out $200, the maximum the machine will give me. And I walk back onto that floor with a feeling in my chest that I can only describe as reckless clarity. Like I'd already accepted that I was going to lose, so now the pressure was off. Now I could just play. That's the most dangerous headspace a gambler can be in. And I walked right into it. I go back to the blackjack table. Same one I'd been losing at before. There are two other players, a middle-aged guy in a polo shirt who looks like he does this every weekend, and a woman in her 60s who's barely paying attention to her cards. The dealer is a young guy, probably my age, and he's got this completely neutral expression that gives away nothing. I sit down. I put $200 on the table, and the dealer slides me chips. Now, here's where I need to explain something about blackjack, because what happened next doesn't make sense unless you understand the math. In blackjack, if you play perfect basic strategy, the house edge is only about 0.5%. That's one of the lowest edges in the entire casino. But here's the catch. That edge assumes you're playing hundreds, thousands of hands. Over the short term, variance is king. You could do everything right and still lose. You could do everything wrong and still win. And that randomness is exactly what makes gambling dangerous, because it feels like skill when you're winning and feels like bad luck when you're losing. I wasn't thinking about any of that at the time. I was thinking, I have $200. I need to turn it into $500. That covers rent. That gets me through the week. That's the number. So I start playing. $25 a hand, which for someone with my bankroll is insane. That's 8 hands before I'm broke. 8 chances to either dig out of this hole or bury myself completely. First hand, I get dealt a 15. Dealer is showing a 7. Basic strategy says hit. I hit. I get a 6. 21. I win. Second hand, I get a blackjack. Ace and a king. Pays 3-2. I'm up $62.50. Third hand, I double down on 11, catch 10. Another win. Now I'm up over $100. And this is where my brain starts doing something dangerous. It starts telling me I'm on a streak, that I've figured something out, that the universe is finally cutting me a break. It's not logic, it's dopamine. Pure, uncut dopamine flooding my system with every chip the dealer pushes my way. Fourth hand, I lose. No big deal. Still up. Fifth hand, I push. Dealer and I both have 18. Sixth hand, I win again. At this point, I've been at the table maybe 15 minutes, and I'm sitting on about $425 in chips. I'm more than double my money. The smart move, the objectively correct move, is to cash out right now, pay my rent, and never speak of this night again. But I don't do that. Because here's the thing nobody tells you about winning. It doesn't feel like enough. I came in down $240 from earlier. So even though I'm up right now, my brain is calculating from the wrong starting point. It's telling me I'm still behind on the night, that I need to keep going to really make this worth it. That's the trap. That's always the trap. I keep playing. $25 a hand becomes $50 a hand. I tell myself I'll quit at $600. Then I say $700. The goalposts keep moving because the high keeps demanding more. And then the streak ends. I lose a double down. There goes $100 in one hand. I lose two more in a row. Suddenly I'm back down to $275. Still technically ahead of where I started this session, but my brain isn't processing it that way. My brain is screaming at me that I just lost $150 and I need to win it back. This is the moment. Right here. This is where most gambling stories go bad. This is where people chase their losses all the way to zero, then hit the ATM again, then max out a credit card, then spiral into something they can't come back from. And I want to tell you I was smart. I want to tell you I recognized what was happening, stood up, and walked away like a rational adult. But that's not what happened. What happened is the woman sitting next to me, the one in her 60s who'd barely been paying attention, looked over at me and said, completely casually, "You look like you're playing with money you can't afford to lose." I didn't respond. I didn't have to. She already knew. She said, "I've been coming here for 30 years. You want to know the only rule that matters?" She tapped the felt with her finger. "Quit while you're up, even a little, because this place will always give you a reason to stay, and it will always take back what it gave you if you let it." Then she went back to her cards like she hadn't said anything at all. I sat there for about 10 seconds. Then I picked up my chips, walked to the cage, and cashed out. $275. That's what I walked out with, which meant, after everything, the $40 of the slots, the $200 at roulette and blackjack earlier, in this final session, I was down $165 on the night. My bank account, which had started the day with maybe $450, was going to end the night with just over $300. I didn't cover rent. I didn't win anything. I walked out of that casino having lost money I couldn't afford to lose, having put myself in a financial hole that took me weeks to climb out of. So why am I telling you this story? Because of what happened after. I drove home that night, replaying everything in my head. The hands I'd won, the hands I'd lost, the moment I had $425 in front of me and chose to keep going instead of walking away. And I kept thinking about what that woman said. This place will always give you a reason to stay. She was right. And it wasn't just about casinos. It was about everything. The relationship I'd just gotten out of had been the same pattern. Chasing something that kept almost working out. Convincing myself that if I just stayed a little longer, put in a little more, it would finally pay off. I've been gambling with my whole life. The casino was just honest about it. I want to be clear. I'm not saying that night saved me or that one stranger's comment completely changed my trajectory. That would be a nice, clean story, but life doesn't work like that. It took me a long time to actually learn the lesson. I went back to casinos after that. I had nights that were worse. I had to really sit with my patterns before I understood what I was doing and why. But that night was the first crack. The first moment I actually saw myself clearly sitting at that table, chasing a number that kept moving, ignoring every signal telling me to stop. And the $200 I risked, that wasn't really about the money. It was about understanding what I was willing to lose and realizing I'd been risking things far more valuable without even knowing it. So here's what I'll leave you with. If you've ever sat at a table or a machine with money you couldn't afford to lose, telling yourself you'd quit when you hit a certain number, and then watch that number pass while you kept playing anyway, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm not here to tell you to never gamble. That's your choice. But I will tell you this. The casino doesn't need you to lose everything in one night. It just needs you to stay long enough, to keep moving the goalposts, to convince yourself that you're almost there, just a little more, just one more hand. That's the game. And now you know how it works. If this story hit close to home, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more real talk about gambling, money, and the psychology behind it all, subscribe. I've got plenty more where this came from. Thanks for watching. Stay smart out there.